Nothing says trust like finding handcuffs in your wife's purse at 2 a.m. I wasn't snooping. Not really. Lena had come home late again, another girls' night that lasted until the bars closed, and I'd been up with insomnia, searching for Tylenol in the kitchen. Her designer purse sat on the counter, mouth open like it was mocking me, and when I reached past it for the medicine cabinet, a metallic clink stopped me cold. Chrome handcuffs. Real ones, not the fuzzy bedroom kind you buy as a gag gift. Police-grade steel with a double lock mechanism and everything. My name's Ed Turner. I'm 46, I run a general contracting business in Millbrook, Massachusetts, and I've been married to Lena for 17 years. We don't use handcuffs. We barely use the bedroom anymore. I stood there in my boxers and undershirt, holding those cuffs under the dim stove light, turning them over in my calloused hands. The key was attached to a little pink keychain, not something I'd ever seen before. My brain did that thing where it tries to find innocent explanations. Maybe she bought them for a work thing. Lena's an HR manager at Tech Vista, one of those startup companies that moved into the old mill complex downtown. Team-building exercise, escape room gift, but at 2:15 in the morning, with my wife's perfume still hanging in the air and her phone face down on the counter, those explanations felt like lies I was telling myself. I pocketed the key, just the key, left the cuffs exactly where they were, buried under her lipstick and receipts. Call it insurance, call it paranoia, call it the first move in a game I didn't know I was playing yet. Ed, you awake? Lena's voice drifted down from upstairs, sleepy and suspicious. I closed her purse quietly and grabbed the Tylenol bottle. Yeah, just getting some aspirin. Go back to sleep. I listened to her footsteps pad back to the bedroom. Our bedroom. The one with the king-size bed we'd picked out together at Jordan's Furniture, back when we still held hands in public and finished each other's sentences. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Sleep didn't come that night. I lay next to my wife, watching the ceiling fan rotate in the darkness, feeling the handcuff key dig into my palm like a splinter. Lena's breathing was deep and even, the sleep of someone with a clear conscience, or someone who'd had 3 glasses of wine. By morning, I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. Because if 17 years of marriage had taught me anything, it was this. Lena Turner was a planner. She didn't make mistakes. She didn't leave evidence. And if those handcuffs were in her purse, there was a reason. I needed to know what that reason was. The next few days, I played dumb. It's easier than you'd think. I'm a contractor. People expect me to be more interested in 2x4s than emotional subtleties. I went to job sites, managed my crew, came home covered in sawdust and drywall compound. Lena went to her office, came home talking about synergy and core competencies and other corporate bullshit that meant nothing to me. But I watched, and I listened. Lena had always been careful with her phone. Now she was obsessive. It never left her sight. She took it to the bathroom, kept it face down during dinner, angled away from me when she texted. The screen was always dark when I walked by. She'd set it to show no previews, no notifications. On Thursday, she announced another work trip. Boston conference, she said, not looking up from her laptop at the kitchen table. Friday through Sunday, leadership training. Another one, you just went to that thing in Providence last month. It's a different program. Tech Vista is really investing in management development. Her tone was clipped, professional, the voice she used with vendors who questioned her invoices. Okay, which hotel? The Fairmont. Why? Just asking. Maybe I'll take you to dinner one night. Her fingers stopped typing, just for a second. That's sweet, but it's a packed schedule. Early sessions, late networking events. You'd be bored. I smiled and went back to my coffee. Sure, no problem. That night, while Lena was in the shower, I did something I'd never done before. I went through her car. My wife drove a silver Lexus SUV, leased through her company. It was always immaculate, not a gum wrapper or coffee cup out of place. That should have been my first clue. People with nothing to hide don't keep their cars that clean. The glove box was locked. Since when do people lock their glove boxes? I found the spare key in our junk drawer. We'd gotten it when she first leased the car, one of those magnetic hide-a-key boxes that had never been used. It took me 3 tries to get the glove box open, my hands shaking like a teenager breaking into his dad's liquor cabinet. Inside, registration, insurance card, owner's manual, and underneath all that, wrapped in a Dunkin' Donuts napkin, a burner phone, a cheap flip phone, the kind you buy at gas stations with cash. It was off, but when I powered it up, there were dozens of texts, all from one number, saved as M. Can't wait for this weekend. Booked the usual room. Bring the handcuffs this time. You promised. Lena, you make me crazy. 3 more days. I sat in the driver's seat of my wife's car, in our driveway, reading text from a man who wasn't me, and something inside me went very quiet and very cold. The shower was still running upstairs. I took photos of every message with my own phone, powered down the burner, and put everything back exactly as I'd found it. My hands were steady now. The shaking had stopped. By the time Lena came downstairs in her bathrobe, I was watching SportsCenter and drinking a beer like nothing had happened. You okay? She asked, toweling her hair. You look tired. Long day. Framing inspection got delayed. She kissed the top of my head. A casual gesture, muscle memory from better years. Get some rest. I've got an early call tomorrow. I watched her walk away, and I thought about those handcuffs, about M and his usual room, about leadership conferences that didn't exist, and I thought about the key in my workshop, hanging on a nail behind my toolbox where Lena would never think to look. Friday morning, Lena left at 6. I heard her loading her overnight bag into the Lexus, the mechanical beep of the locks, the engine starting. I stayed in bed until her taillights disappeared down Maple Street. Then I got up and made the strongest coffee I'd ever brewed. My best friend Rich showed up at 7:30, like I'd asked him to. Rich Kowalski and I went back to high school. We'd played football together, gotten drunk together, been in each other's weddings. He ran a plumbing business and looked like a guy who ran a plumbing business. Barrel chest, thick arms, perpetual 5 o'clock shadow. He also had the biggest mouth in Millbrook, which made him useful. This better be good, he said, climbing out of his truck with a box of donuts. Gina thinks I'm checking on a water heater and framing him. Lena's cheating on me. Rich stopped halfway up my driveway. What? I showed him the photos, the texts, told him about the handcuffs, the locked glove box, the conference that I'd already confirmed didn't exist. One phone call to the Fairmont, asking for Lena Turner's reservation, had gotten me a polite, "I'm sorry, sir, we have no one by that name checked in this weekend." Rich read through everything twice, his face getting redder. That son of a bastard. Who's M? Don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. We should follow her. Right now. I'll drive. She won't recognize my truck. I'd already thought of that. No, if we spook her, she'll just get better at hiding it. I need evidence. Real evidence. The kind that holds up. Holds up for what? You gonna divorce her? That was the question, wasn't it? 17 years. A house with both our names on the mortgage. Shared accounts, shared friends, shared life. Divorce would be messy and expensive and public. Everyone in Millbrook would know. Everyone would have opinions. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, I said, but I'm not making any moves until I know exactly what I'm dealing with. Rich bit into a jelly donut, thinking. So what's the plan? I need to know who M is, and I need proof that'll stick. Photos, recordings, something she can't talk her way out of. You want me to tail her? No, I want you to help me with something else. I took him down to my workshop in the basement. It's my favorite room in the house. Concrete floor, pegboard walls covered in tools, workbench I'd built myself from reclaimed barnwood. This is where I came when I needed to think, when I needed to build something with my hands and let my brain work in the background. The handcuff key was right where I'd left it, hanging on a nail behind my toolbox. Here's what I'm thinking, I said. Those handcuffs are still in her purse. She's going to use them this weekend with whoever M is. But what if the key doesn't work? Rich's eyes went wide. You're going to swap it? Already did. This is the real one. The one in her purse now is from a different set I bought at the hardware store. Same brand, wrong key. Jesus, Ed, that's cold. That's just the start. I showed him the rest of what I'd been working on. A voice-activated recorder, small enough to hide in a purse. A GPS tracker, the kind you stick to the underside of a car. A dummy email account I'd set up, linked to the Find My Phone app on Lena's iPhone. She'd never noticed one more email address in her settings, and it would let me see exactly where she went. Rich whistled low. You've been busy. When did you do all this? Thursday night, after I found the burner phone. Couldn't sleep anyway. This is some spy movie shit. This is some my wife is screwing around and I want to know who with shit. We spent the next hour setting everything up. The GPS tracker went under the Lexus's rear bumper, magnetic mount, tucked up where you'd never see it unless you were looking. The recorder went in a zippered pocket of Lena's gym bag. She always brought it on trips, always left it in her hotel room. By 9 o'clock, I was tracking my wife's location on my phone. She wasn't at the Fairmont in Boston. She was at the Riverside Inn, a boutique hotel in Providence, Rhode Island. Same place she'd gone for her conference last month. Got her, I said, showing Rich the map. Providence, not Boston. That's only an hour away. We could be there by lunch. No, we wait. Let them get comfortable. Let them think they're safe. Rich looked at me like I'd grown a second head. You're scary when you're pissed off. You know that? I'm not pissed off. And that was the truth. I wasn't angry. I was cold, calculated. Angry would have meant kicking down doors and throwing punches. This was different. This was chess. So what now? Rich asked. Now we go to Donnelly's and have a beer. And you're going to do what you do best. What's that? Talk. I want to know what people are saying. If Lena's cheating, someone knows. Someone always knows. Donnelly's bar was Millbrook's living room. Dark wood, Bruins memorabilia, the smell of fried food and spilled beer. It opened at 11 on weekends, and by 11:30, the regulars were already claiming their stools. Rich and I took a booth in the back. Within 10 minutes, people started stopping by. That's how it works in a town like this. You can't be invisible. Everyone knows everyone, and everyone's business is everyone's business. Gina Kowalski showed up first. Rich's wife was a nurse at Millbrook General, sharp as a tack, and she'd never liked Lena. Rich texted me, she said, sliding into the booth next to me. I'm so sorry, Ed. You knew? I suspected. Lena's been different lately, happier. That's always a bad sign in a marriage. She squeezed my hand. What are you going to do? Still figuring that out. Well, if you need help burying a body, I know where the good shovels are. She was joking, mostly. Over the next hour, more people filtered through. Tommy Breslin, who worked at the post office, mentioned he'd seen Lena's car at the train station a lot lately. Thought she was commuting to Boston for work. Kelly Marsh, who ran the coffee shop on Main Street, said Lena had been meeting some guy there on weekday mornings. Tall, good-looking, drives a BMW. They sit in the corner and laugh a lot. By 1 o'clock, I had a description. 6'1", dark hair, expensive suits, BMW 5 Series, probably early 40s. And I had a name. That's Miles Gannon, said Old Man Sykes. Sykes was a fixture at Donnelly's, a Korean War vet who'd lived on my street for 40 years. He saw everything, forgot nothing, and had opinions about all of it. Miles Gannon works at Tech Vista, Sykes continued, nursing his whiskey. Marketing director or some such. Divorced last year. Thinks he's hot shit because he drives a fancy car. You know him? Know of him. He lives in those new condos by the river, the expensive ones. Parks his car like an asshole, takes up 2 spaces. I felt that cold feeling again, spreading through my chest. Miles Gannon, marketing director at Tech Vista, my wife's co-worker. Thanks, Mr. Sykes. You gonna do something about this, Ed? Yeah, I am. Good. Your wife's a piece of work, no offense. None taken. By the time we left Donnelly's, I had a plan forming. Not revenge, not yet. First, I needed proof. Real, undeniable, take it to a lawyer proof. And I needed to know exactly how deep this went. Rich dropped me back at my house. You sure you're okay? You want me to stay? I'm fine. Go home to Gina. And Rich, thanks. That's what friends are for, buddy. You need anything, you call, day or night. I spent the rest of Friday afternoon in my workshop, monitoring the GPS tracker on my phone. Lena's car hadn't moved from the Riverside Inn. At 6 o'clock, I ordered a pizza and opened a beer. At 8, I checked the voice recorder app. It was picking up audio, but I'd wait until tomorrow to listen. Give them time? At 10, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Is this Ed Turner? Yeah, who's this? Jennifer Gannon, Miles's ex-wife. I think we should talk. Jennifer Gannon and I met at a Dunkin' Donuts in Framingham on Saturday morning. Neutral territory, halfway between Millbrook and wherever she lived now. She'd suggested it, and I'd agreed immediately. If Miles's ex-wife wanted to talk, I wanted to listen. She was waiting in a corner booth when I arrived, nursing a large iced coffee. Early 40s, blonde, tired eyes. She looked like someone who'd been through a war and was still counting casualties. Ed? Jennifer, thanks for reaching out. Thank Gina Kowalski. She's a friend. We worked together at the hospital before I moved. She called me last night, told me what was happening. Jennifer pushed a folder across the table. I thought you might want to see these. Inside were printouts, bank statements, credit card bills, hotel receipts, all in Miles Gannon's name, all showing a pattern of weekend trips, expensive dinners, jewelry purchases. He was cheating on me for 2 years before I caught him, Jennifer said. Different women, always someone from work. He's got a type, ambitious, married, looking for excitement. Your wife isn't the first. I felt my jaw clench. How many? That I know of? 3. but I only found out about the others after I hired a private investigator. Cost me $8,000, but it was worth it in the divorce. Did you get photos? Better, I got video. Miles likes to record things. He kept them on a hidden folder in his laptop. My lawyer had a field day. She pulled out her phone and showed me. I won't describe what I saw, but it was enough. More than enough. Miles Gannon was a predator, and he'd been doing this for years. Why are you showing me this? I asked. Because I know what you're going through, and because Miles needs to be stopped. He ruined my marriage, humiliated me in front of everyone we knew, and walked away with barely a scratch. His career's fine, his reputation's fine. He just moved on to the next victim. Lena's not a victim. She made a choice. Maybe, but Miles is good at what he does. He's charming, he makes you feel special, and then he destroys you. Jennifer leaned forward. I want him to pay for what he did, and if helping you helps me do that, I'm all in. We talked for 2 hours. Jennifer told me everything, how Miles operated, his patterns, his weaknesses. He was vain, arrogant, sloppy when he thought he was safe. He liked control, liked games, liked pushing boundaries. He's probably the one who suggested the handcuffs, Jennifer said. That was his thing with me, too. Always wanted to try something new, something risky. By the time we finished, I had a strategy. Jennifer had given me Miles's address, his schedule, his habits. She'd also given me something else, the name of her lawyer, a shark named Patricia Wolfe, who specialized in high-conflict divorces. Call her, Jennifer said. Tell her I sent you. She'll take your case. I haven't decided if I'm getting divorced yet. Ed, your wife is in Providence right now, in a hotel room with my ex-husband. What more do you need to decide? She had a point. I drove home with Jennifer's folder on my passenger seat, feeling like I'd just loaded ammunition. The GPS tracker showed Lena's car was still at the Riverside Inn. The voice recorder had captured hours of audio. I wasn't ready to listen yet. I needed to be in the right headspace, needed to be prepared for whatever I was about to hear. Instead, I did what I always did when I needed to think. I went to my workshop. My current project was a custom bookshelf for a client in Wellesley, built in oak with hidden compartments. Detail work, precise measurements, the kind of thing that required total focus. I lost myself in it for hours, the smell of sawdust and wood stain, the rhythm of the router and sander. By evening, the bookshelf was nearly done, and my head was clear. I checked my phone. Lena had texted. Hope you're having a good weekend. Conference is going well. Miss you. I stared at that message for a long time. Miss you. 3 years ago, maybe even 1 year ago, I would have believed it. I would have texted back something sweet, told her I missed her too, asked about her day. Now I knew exactly where she was and what she was doing. I typed back, Miss you too. Drive safe tomorrow. Then I opened the voice recorder app and pressed play. The audio was rough at first, rustling fabric, muffled voices, the sound of a door closing. Then Lena's laugh, bright and genuine in a way I hadn't heard in years. Finally, I thought this week would never end. A man's voice, smooth and confident. Miles. Worth the wait, though, right? Always. Kissing sounds, movement. I fast-forwarded. Did you bring them? Miles asked. The handcuffs? Of course. You're obsessed. Only with you. More sounds I didn't need to hear. I skipped ahead again, looking for conversation. Found it around the 2-hour mark. What about Ed? Miles asked. Does he suspect anything? Ed? God, no. He's completely clueless. Spends all his time in that workshop, building things covered in sawdust. I don't think he's noticed I exist in 6 months. His loss, my gain. Exactly. And honestly, I don't feel bad about it. I've been a good wife for 17 years. I've earned this. You've earned more than this. You're wasted on him, Lena. You should be with someone who appreciates you. Someone like you. Someone exactly like me. I stopped the recording, sat there in my workshop in the dark, listening to the silence. 17 years, a good wife. I thought about our wedding day. Lena in her white dress, me in a rented tux, both of us young and stupid and sure we'd figured out forever. I thought about buying this house together, the fixer-upper everyone said was too much work, painting walls and refinishing floors and building a life. I thought about the miscarriages, 3 of them, each one harder than the last. The way we'd held each other and cried and promised it would be okay, we'd be okay, we had each other. When had that stopped being enough? When had I stopped being enough? I played the rest of the recording. There was more, plans for future trips, complaints about work, intimate details I didn't need to hear, and then, near the end. What about your friends? Miles asked. Tina and Pam? Do they know? Tina suspects, but she won't say anything. She's having her own thing with that guy from accounting. And Pam? Pam lives for drama. She'd love this. You trust them? I trust that they're not going to mess up a good situation. Everyone's happy. Everyone's getting what they want. And what do you want, Lena? A pause. Then, I want you. I want this. I want to feel alive again. The recording ended shortly after that. I sat in the dark for a long time, thinking. Tina and Pam, Lena's best friends, women I'd known for years, women who'd been in our house, eaten at our table, pretended to care about our marriage. They knew. They'd always known. That's when I stopped feeling cold and started feeling something else. Not anger, not yet, but something close. Something that tasted like gasoline and burned on the way down. I texted Rich. Need your help tomorrow. Big move. His response came immediately. Name the time and place. Then I called Patricia Wolf, the lawyer Jennifer had recommended. Left a voicemail. Ms. Wolf, my name is Ed Turner. Jennifer Gannon suggested I call you. I need to discuss a divorce. Please call me back at your earliest convenience. Finally, I went upstairs, took a shower, and went to bed. Lena's side was empty, cold, untouched. I didn't miss her, not anymore. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. Lena came home Sunday evening, rolling her suitcase through the door with a smile that looked practiced in a mirror. Hey, honey, I'm exhausted. That conference was intense. How was Boston? I asked from the couch, not looking up from the football game. Cold, rainy. The Fairmont was nice, though. Good breakfast buffet. Lie after lie after lie, delivered with the confidence of someone who'd never been caught. Sounds great. There's leftover lasagna in the fridge if you're hungry. Thanks. I'm just going to unpack and take a bath. I listened to her footsteps on the stairs, the sound of her suitcase wheels on the hardwood. Heard the bathroom door close, the water start running. She was washing off evidence, scrubbing away the weekend. My phone buzzed. Patricia Wolf had emailed back. Mr. Turner, I can meet you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Please bring all documentation. I had plenty of documentation. Monday morning, I told my crew I'd be out for a few hours. Miguel, my foreman, just nodded. He'd been with me for 8 years and knew when not to ask questions. I drove to Patricia Wolf's office in Newton, a sleek building with glass doors and expensive furniture. Patricia was exactly what I'd expected from Jennifer's description. Mid-50s, steel gray hair, suit that probably cost more than my truck. She shook my hand with a grip that meant business. Jennifer told me about your situation. I've reviewed the materials she shared. Let's talk about what you want. I want out, and I want it to be fair. Fair for you or fair for your wife? Fair for me. She made her choices. I'm not paying for them. Patricia smiled. Not warm, not friendly. Then let's discuss strategy. We spent 2 hours going through everything. The texts, the recordings, the GPS data, Jennifer's testimony about Miles's pattern of behavior. Patricia took notes, asked pointed questions, built a case. Massachusetts is a no-fault divorce state, she said, but adultery affects the division of assets, especially if marital funds were used to support the affair. These hotel bills, the jewelry purchases Miles made, did your wife contribute financially? We have joint accounts. She has access to everything. Then we can argue dissipation of marital assets. It won't get you everything, but it'll help. More importantly, we can use this to negotiate. Your wife works in HR. She knows how bad this could look professionally. If her employer finds out she's been having an affair with a coworker, using company time and possibly company resources, that's a problem. You want me to threaten her job? I want you to have leverage. Whether you use it is up to you. I thought about that. About Lena's career, the things she'd built, the identity she'd wrapped around herself like armor. Tech Vista was her kingdom. HR manager. 6-figure salary, respect, authority, power. What do I need to do? Document everything. Keep recording, keep tracking. Don't confront her yet. We want her to feel safe. Keep making mistakes. And whatever you do, don't let her know you're talking to a lawyer. How long? A few weeks, maybe a month. We need an airtight case before we file. I left Patricia's office feeling like I'd just enlisted in a war, which I suppose I had. The next 2 weeks were the strangest of my life. I went through the motions, worked my jobs, came home, had dinner with my wife. We talked about nothing. The weather, the news, what to watch on Netflix. Lena complained about work stress, about her boss, about the new intern who couldn't format a spreadsheet. I nodded and made sympathetic noises and thought about Miles Gannon's hands on her skin, but I was also building my case. Every time Lena went out, I tracked her. Every work dinner that ran late, every girls' night that ended after midnight. The GPS showed a pattern. Miles's condo in the new development by the river. Always the same place, always the same lies. I recorded phone calls. Massachusetts is a two-party consent state, but there are exceptions for married couples in shared spaces. Patricia had explained the legalities. As long as I was in my own house, recording conversations I was part of or that happened in common areas, I was clear. I got more audio. Lena on the phone with Miles, whispering in the kitchen while she thought I was in the shower. Lena on the phone with Tina, laughing about how Ed's so focused on work he doesn't notice anything. Lena on the phone with Pam, discussing which hotel to try next, somewhere with a better minibar. And I documented the money. Charges to our joint credit card, lingerie from Victoria's Secret, perfume from Sephora, a weekend bag from Coach. All purchased in the last 3 months. All things she'd never worn or used around me. Patricia was right. This was dissipation of marital assets. This was evidence. But I wasn't ready to file yet, because filing meant lawyers and courts and public records. Filing meant everyone in Millbrook would know. And before that happened, I wanted something else. I wanted them to know what it felt like. The opportunity came on a Thursday night. Lena announced another work event. A networking mixer at some bar in Cambridge. She'd be home late, don't wait up. Sounds fun, I said. Which bar? The Sinclair. Tech industry thing. Super boring. I checked the GPS after she left. She wasn't going to Cambridge. She was going to Miles's condo. I called Rich. Tonight, you ready? Born ready. What's the plan? Remember those handcuffs? The ones with the wrong key? Oh, this is going to be good. We met at Donnelly's first. Dutch courage, Rich called it. 2 beers each, enough to steady the nerves, but not enough to get stupid. Gina came too. She'd insisted, said she wasn't missing this for anything. You're sure about this? She asked me. Once you do this, there's no going back. I'm sure. Good. That woman's had it coming for months. We drove to Miles's condo complex in Rich's truck. It was one of those modern developments with too much glass and not enough parking, built on the site of an old factory. Expensive, trendy, soulless. Miles's BMW was in the lot, parked across 2 spaces like Sykes had said. What an asshole, Rich muttered. We waited. I'd timed this carefully. They'd been inside for about an hour, which meant they were comfortable, distracted. The voice recorder I'd hidden in Lena's purse was picking up audio. I didn't need to listen to know what was happening. Okay, I said. Here's what we do. Gina, you're going to knock on the door in exactly 15 minutes. Say you're Miles's ex-wife. You need to talk to him about their divorce settlement. It's urgent. He'll panic. They both will. And then? Then you take pictures. Of everything. The scene, the panic, whatever you see. Don't go inside. You're not breaking any laws. Just document. What about the handcuffs? Rich asked. They'll figure it out. The key won't work. They'll be stuck. And by the time they get free, if they get free, everyone will know. It wasn't elaborate. It wasn't elegant, but it would work. Gina checked her watch. 15 minutes. I'm setting a timer. We sat in the truck, waiting. I watched Miles's window. 3rd floor, corner unit. Lights on behind closed blinds. Imagined what was happening in there. Imagined the moment when they realized the key didn't work, when panic set in, when they understood they were trapped. The timer went off. Show time, Gina said, climbing out of the truck. She walked to the building entrance, buzzed Miles's unit. We couldn't hear the conversation, but we saw the result. Lights coming on, shadows moving frantically behind the blinds. 3 minutes later, Gina buzzed again, more frantic movement. 5 minutes after that, she knocked on the actual door. We could hear shouting from inside, muffled, panicked, angry. Gina pulled out her phone and started recording. The door opened. Miles appeared, shirtless, red-faced, furious. What the hell do you want, Jennifer? I'm not Jennifer, Gina said calmly. I'm a friend of Ed Turner's, and I'm here to document what you and his wife are doing. You can't. This is private property. The hallway's common space. I can stand here all night if I want. She angled her phone to see past him. Hi, Lena. Ed says hello. I couldn't see Lena's face from the truck, but I heard her scream, high and panicked, and absolutely perfect. Miles tried to grab Gina's phone. Big mistake. Rich was out of the truck and up those stairs in seconds, all 240 pounds of him, and suddenly Miles was backing up with his hands raised. Touch her again, and we're calling the cops, Rich said. Actually, maybe we should call them anyway. Public indecency? Adultery's not illegal, but I bet your landlord would love to know what you're doing in there. Get out, both of you. This is harassment. This is justice, I said. I'd gotten out of the truck, too. Couldn't help myself. Needed to see her face. Lena was in the doorway now, wrapped in a bedsheet, her hair a mess, her makeup smeared. She saw me and something in her face just broke. Ed, I can explain. No need. I've got recordings, GPS data, bank statements, and now photos. I've got everything I need. You've been spying on me. You've been cheating on me for months with this asshole. I pointed at Miles, who was trying to put on pants and failing. So yeah, I've been paying attention. This is crazy. You're crazy. I'm filing for divorce on Monday. My lawyer's got all the evidence. You're going to want to get your own lawyer, a good one. Ed, please. The handcuffs were a nice touch, by the way. Hope you figured out the key situation. That's when I saw them, still attached to the bedpost, chrome glinting in the light. Miles had one wrist free. He'd probably dislocated a thumb getting out, judging by the way he was cradling his hand. You switched the key, Lena said. You son of a bastard, you switched the key. Yeah, I did. Consider it a parting gift. I turned and walked away. Rich and Gina followed. Behind us, Lena was crying, and Miles was shouting something about lawyers and defamation. But I didn't care. Didn't look back. We got in the truck and drove away, and for the first time in weeks, I felt something like peace. That was beautiful, Gina said. Absolutely beautiful. It's not over yet, I said, but it's a start. By Friday morning, everyone in Millbrook knew. Small towns are like that. You can't keep secrets, can't hide scandals. Someone always talks. In this case, it was probably half a dozen someones. Gina telling her friends at the hospital, Rich telling the guys at Donnelly's, Old Man Sykes telling everyone on our street. The story spread like wildfire, getting bigger and wilder with each retelling. I heard at least 5 versions by noon. In one, I'd broken down Miles's door with an axe. In another, Lena had been arrested. In the most creative version, I'd hired a private investigator who'd caught them in a hot tub at some mansion. The truth was dramatic enough. My phone started ringing at 7 in the morning. I ignored most of the calls. Reporters from the local paper, acquaintances I hadn't spoken to in years, people looking for gossip. But I answered when Patricia Wolf called. Ed, what the hell happened last night? I told her. Everything. The confrontation, the photos, the handcuffs. She was quiet for a long moment. You realize you've complicated things, right? If this goes to court, Lena's lawyer will argue harassment, emotional distress, possibly invasion of privacy. Can they make it stick? Probably not. You didn't break any laws. You were on common property, you didn't threaten anyone, and the evidence you gathered was legal. But it's going to get messy. It was already messy. Fair point. Okay, here's what we do. I'm filing the divorce petition today. We're going to move fast before Lena's lawyer can get organized. I'm also going to send a letter to Tech Vista's HR department, not Lena, the actual HR department, informing them of a potential workplace relationship that may violate company policy. Will that get her fired? Maybe. Probably. Depends on their policies. But even if it doesn't, it'll put pressure on her. Make her understand this isn't going away. Do it. I spent the rest of Friday avoiding people and working on a kitchen renovation in Wellesley. Physical labor, mindless and exhausting. My crew knew something was up. They'd heard the rumors, but they didn't ask questions. Just worked alongside me, passing tools and making small talk about the Bruins. Miguel pulled me aside during lunch break. Boss, you okay? You need time off. We can handle things. I'm fine. Better to stay busy. Yeah, I get that. Just, if you need anything, we got your back. Thanks, Miguel. I appreciate it. By the time I got home that evening, there was a car in my driveway, Lena's Lexus. She was sitting on the front steps, still in her work clothes, her face blotchy from crying. We need to talk, she said. Talk to my lawyer. Ed, please, just give me 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I unlocked the door and let her in. She followed me to the kitchen, where I grabbed a beer from the fridge and waited. I'm sorry, Lena said. I know that's not enough, but I am. I never meant for this to happen. Which part? The cheating or getting caught? Both. Neither. I don't know. She sat down at the kitchen table, the same table we'd picked out together at a yard sale 10 years ago. I was unhappy. We both were. We haven't been us in years. So you decided to sleep with your coworker instead of talking to me about it? It wasn't like that. It just happened. Bullshit. You planned it. The burner phone, the hotels, the lies. That's not just happening. That's a choice. She didn't have an answer for that. How long? I asked. How long has it been going on? 6 months? maybe 7. Jesus, Lena. I know it's awful. But Ed, you have to understand. I felt invisible. You were always working, always in that workshop, always busy. I needed someone to see me. I saw you, every day. I just didn't see the lies. That's not fair. None of this is fair. I slammed the beer bottle down hard enough that she flinched. You don't get to make me the bad guy here. You don't get to blame me for your choices. I wasn't perfect, but I was faithful. I was here. I tried. I know, you're right. I'm sorry. We sat in silence for a while. Outside, I could hear kids playing in the street, someone mowing a lawn, the sounds of normal life continuing while ours fell apart. What happens now? Lena asked finally. I told you. Divorce. My lawyer's filing the petition. You'll get served next week. Do we have to do this? Can't we try counseling or... No, we're done. I'm done. What about the house? We'll sell it, split the proceeds. That's how it works. And my job? I heard you sent a letter to Tech Vista. You heard correctly. Ed, that could ruin my career. You should have thought of that before you slept with your coworker. Actions have consequences, Lena. You taught me that. She stood up, grabbed her purse. You're being cruel. I'm being honest. There's a difference. I hope you're happy with yourself. I'm not happy, but I'm not a liar either. She left without another word. I watched her drive away, the Lexus disappearing down Maple Street, and I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no regret, just a vast, empty relief. My phone rang. Rich. You okay, buddy? Gina said she saw Lena's car at your place. I'm fine. She wanted to talk. I told her to talk to my lawyer. Good. You staying strong? Yeah, I'm good. You want to come over? Gina's making lasagna. We can watch the game, drink some beers, pretend the world isn't insane. Thanks. But I think I need to be alone tonight. Process everything. I get it. But Ed, you did the right thing. Don't let anyone tell you different. After we hung up, I went down to my workshop. The bookshelf I'd been building was finished. All that was left was the final coat of varnish. I applied it slowly, carefully, watching the grain of the wood come alive under the brush. This was what I understood. Wood and tools and creating something solid from nothing. Not lies, not games, not handcuffs and hotel rooms. I thought about the last 17 years. The good times, the bad times, the ordinary times that made up a marriage. Wondered when it had started to go wrong. Wondered if I could have fixed it, if I'd noticed sooner. But mostly, I thought about moving forward. About what came next. The divorce would be ugly. The town gossip would be worse. There'd be lawyers and paperwork and splitting up a life we'd built together. But I'd survive it. I'd survived worse. And someday, maybe, I'd build something new. The divorce papers were served on Tuesday. Lena called me 17 times that day. I didn't answer. On Wednesday, her lawyer called. Some guy named Richard Bloom, who sounded exactly like you'd expect. Smooth, expensive, slightly condescending. Mr. Turner, I represent Lena Turner in your divorce proceedings. I'd like to discuss the possibility of mediation before this goes to court. Talk to my lawyer. I'm trying to save both of you time and money. If we can reach an agreement... I said talk to my lawyer, Patricia Wolfe. I'm sure you have her number. I hung up. Patricia called me an hour later, laughing. Bloom's already trying to negotiate. He knows his client's case is weak. He offered 60-40 on the house. Lena keeps her retirement account. You keep yours. What did you tell him? I told him to go to hell. We want 70-30, minimum, and we want documentation of every penny she spent on the affair. Hotels, dinners, gifts. All of it comes out of her share. Can we get that? We can try. Massachusetts law allows us to argue for unequal distribution based on dissipation of assets. The recordings you have, the credit card statements, that's our ammunition. What about her job? Did Tech Vista respond to your letter? Not yet, but they will. Companies don't like workplace affairs, especially when they involve management. Too much liability. Good. But the real confrontation came on Thursday night at Donnelly's. I'd stopped by after work, just wanting a beer and some peace. The bar was crowded. Thursday was trivia night, and half of Millbrook turned out for it. I found a stool at the end of the bar, ordered a Bud Light, and tried to ignore the stares and whispers. I'd become famous. The guy whose wife cheated on him. The guy who'd caught them with handcuffs. The guy who'd walked away with his dignity intact. Except I didn't feel dignified. I felt tired and angry and ready for this all to be over. Ed Turner. I turned. 3 guys I used to call friends were standing behind me. Dave Mahoney, Chris Porter, and Jason Reed. We'd been close once, Poker nights, Patriots games, helping each other move furniture. But they were also friends with Miles Gannon, worked with him at Tech Vista, went to his parties, thought he was a great guy. Dave, Chris, Jason. "We need to talk," Dave said. "I don't think we do. You humiliated Miles. You and your thug friend broke into his condo, harassed him, took pictures without permission. That's illegal, Ed. That's stalking." "We didn't break in. We knocked on the door, and Gina took pictures in a public hallway, which is perfectly legal. You want to check with a lawyer?" "You're ruining his life," Chris said. "He might lose his job because of you." "He's ruining his own life. I just documented it." "That's bullshit," Jason said, stepping closer. "Miles is a good guy. He made a mistake. People make mistakes. A mistake is forgetting to take out the trash. 6 months of screwing my wife is a choice." "She wasn't happy with you," Dave said. "Everyone knew it. You were a shitty husband, Ed. Always working, never paying attention to her. What did you expect?" That's when I stood up. I'm 6 feet tall, 210 pounds, and I've been swinging hammers and hauling lumber for 25 years. Dave Mahoney was 5'9" and worked in IT. The physical mismatch was obvious. "Say that again," I said quietly. "You heard me. You were a shitty—" I didn't hit him. I wanted to. God knows I wanted to, but I didn't. Instead, I picked up my beer, took a long drink, and smiled. "You're right. I wasn't perfect. I worked too much. I didn't pay enough attention. I could have been a better husband." I set the beer down. "But I was faithful. I didn't lie. I didn't cheat. I didn't break my vows. So if you want to stand there and defend Miles Gannon, a guy who's been screwing married women for years, who uses and discards people like they're disposable, you go right ahead. But don't expect me to give a damn about your opinion." "You're an asshole," Chris said. "Maybe, but I'm an honest asshole, which is more than I can say for your boy Miles." "He's going to sue you," Jason said, "for defamation, harassment, emotional distress. He's going to take everything you have. Let him try. I've got recordings, photos, bank statements, and a witness who'll testify he's done this before. What's he got? A sob story and a dislocated thumb?" That's when Dave shoved me. Not hard, just a push to the chest, the kind of thing drunk guys do when they want to start a fight but don't want to throw the first real punch. The bar went quiet. Everyone was watching now. I didn't shove back, didn't need to. Instead, I looked at Rich, who was sitting 3 stools down, and nodded. Rich stood up. So did 4 other guys. Miguel from my crew, Tommy Breslin from the post office, a couple of regulars who'd known me for years. "You got a problem with Ed," Rich said. "You got a problem with all of us." Dave looked around, realized he was outnumbered, and backed off. "This isn't over." "Yeah, it is," I said. "We're not friends anymore. We're not anything. You made your choice. Now live with it." They left. The bar stayed quiet for another minute, then slowly the noise resumed. People went back to their drinks, their conversations, their trivia questions, but I knew it wasn't over. Not really. Friday morning, I got a call from Patricia. Tech Vista responded. They're launching an internal investigation into Lena and Miles' relationship. Both of them are on administrative leave pending the outcome. Will they get fired? Probably. The company has a strict policy against relationships between supervisors and subordinates. Miles is technically Lena's superior. He's a director, she's a manager. That's a violation right there. Add in the potential for harassment claims, a toxic work environment, misuse of company time and resources. Yeah, they're finished. Good. There's more. Miles's lawyer sent us a letter. He's threatening to sue for defamation and invasion of privacy. Can he win? No. Everything you said is true, and truth is an absolute defense against defamation. The invasion of privacy claim is weak. You didn't hack his computer or break into his home. You followed your wife, which is legal. You recorded conversations in your own home, which is legal. And Gina took photos in a public space, which is legal. He's bluffing. So we ignore it? We send a response telling him to pound sand. I'll draft something today. After we hung up, I sat in my truck for a while, thinking. Miles was desperate. Desperate people do stupid things. I needed to be ready. I called Jennifer Gannon. Ed, hi, how are you holding up? I'm okay. Listen, I need to ask you something. When you were divorcing Miles, did he ever get violent? Threatening? A pause. Why do you ask? He's talking about suing me. His friends confronted me at a bar last night. I'm wondering how far he'll take this. Miles is a coward. He'll bluster and threaten, but he won't actually do anything. He's too worried about his image, his reputation. The worst he'll do is try to turn people against you. He's already doing that. Then you're ahead of the game. Ed, Miles is a narcissist. He can't handle losing, but he's also weak. Push back, and he'll fold. I've seen it. Thanks. That helps. And Ed? Be careful. Cornered narcissists can be unpredictable. I spent the rest of Friday working on a deck installation in Natick. Hard physical work under a cold November sun. By the time I got home, I was exhausted and sore and ready for a hot shower and a cold beer. There was a note taped to my front door. You're going to regret this. M. I took a photo of it, sent it to Patricia, and threw it away. Then I went inside, locked the doors, and got my shotgun out of the safe. I didn't think Miles would actually try anything, but I wasn't taking chances. Millbrook's Fall Festival happened every year on the first Saturday of November. Main Street shut down, vendors set up booths, there was a parade and live music and fried dough and all the small-town charm you could stomach. It was the kind of event you couldn't avoid if you lived here. Everyone went, everyone participated, everyone pretended to have a good time. This year, I wasn't planning to go. Too public, too many people, too much potential for drama. But Rich convinced me. You can't hide, buddy. You didn't do anything wrong. You go to that festival, you hold your head up, you show everyone you're fine. I don't feel fine. Fake it. That's what the rest of us do. So I went. Wore jeans and a flannel shirt, walked down Main Street with Rich and Gina, ate a funnel cake, listened to a high school band butcher, Sweet Caroline. It was almost normal. Until I saw Lena. She was with Tina and Pam, standing near the beer garden, all three of them holding plastic cups of wine. Lena looked terrible. Pale, thin, dark circles under her eyes. She saw me and froze. Keep walking, Gina said. Don't engage. But Tina had other ideas. She walked straight up to me, wine sloshing in her cup, and pointed a finger in my face. You're a bastard, Ed Turner. You know that? A complete bastard. Tina, walk away. No, you humiliated Lena. You destroyed her career. You turned the whole town against her. And for what? Because she made one mistake? One mistake that lasted 6 months, but who's counting? She loved you. She gave you 17 years of her life, and you threw it away over nothing. I threw it away? I laughed, sharp and bitter. That's Rich. She's the one who... You never appreciated her, Tina was yelling now, drawing a crowd. You took her for granted, ignored her, made her feel worthless. Miles made her feel special. Miles made her feel alive. Miles made her feel like a fool, Gina said, just like he made Jennifer feel like a fool, and the woman before her, and the woman before her. He's a predator, Tina, and your friend fell for it. That's not true. It is true, I said. I've got proof. Recordings, emails, testimony from his ex-wife. Miles Gannon is a serial cheater who targets married women. Lena wasn't special, she was convenient. Lena appeared then, grabbing Tina's arm. Stop, just stop. No, Lena, he needs to hear this. He needs to know what he's done to you. He already knows, and he doesn't care. Lena looked at me, and for a second I saw something like the woman I'd married. Sad, tired, defeated. Can we talk? Please, just for a minute? Talk to my lawyer. Ed, please, I just want to explain. There's nothing to explain. You cheated. I caught you. We're getting divorced. That's it. That's the whole story. It's not that simple? Yeah, it is. Pam stepped forward then. She'd been quiet until now, watching with the expression of someone enjoying a show. You know what, Ed? You're not the victim here. You're just a bitter, angry man who can't handle the fact that his wife outgrew him. Outgrew me? Is that what we're calling it? She's successful. She's ambitious. She needed someone who could keep up with her. You couldn't. So she found someone who could? Is that the story you're all telling yourselves? It's the truth. The truth is your friend is a cheater and a liar, and you enabled her. You knew what she was doing, and you helped her hide it. That makes you complicit. We were supporting her, Tina said. You were helping her destroy her marriage. The crowd around us had grown. I could see phones out, people recording. This was going to be all over Facebook by tonight. The thought should have bothered me. It didn't. I'm done here, I said. Enjoy the festival. I started to walk away. That's when Miles Gannon appeared. He looked worse than Lena. Unshaven, rumpled, his expensive clothes wrinkled like he'd slept in them. His eyes were wild, unfocused, drunk or high or both. You son of a bastard, he said, pointing at me. You ruined everything. Miles, don't, Lena said. Let's just go. No, he needs to hear this. He needs to know what he's done. What I've done? You're the one who couldn't keep it in your pants. She came to me. She wanted me. You weren't enough for her. And now neither of you have anything. How's that working out? Miles lunged at me. It was clumsy, uncoordinated, the attack of a drunk amateur. I sidestepped easily, and he stumbled past me, nearly falling. Rich caught him. "Easy there, champ. You don't want to do this." "Get your hands off me." "Miles, stop." Lena was crying now, pulling at his arm. "You're making it worse." "It can't get worse. I lost my job, my condo, everything, because of him." "You lost it because you're a cheating scumbag," I said. "Own it." That's when Miles swung at me. This time, he connected. Sort of. His fist glanced off my shoulder, more of a slap than a punch. It didn't hurt, but it crossed a line. I grabbed his wrist, twisted it behind his back, and forced him face down onto the pavement. Not hard enough to injure him, just hard enough to make a point. "Touch me again, and I'll press charges," I said. "You understand?" "Get off me." "Do you understand?" Yes, I understand." I let him go. He scrambled to his feet, backing away, Lena clutching his arm. The crowd was silent now, everyone watching, everyone recording. "This isn't over," Miles said. "Yeah, it is. You're done, Miles. You're fired, you're broke, and you're alone. Lena's going to figure that out soon enough, and when she does, she'll realize she threw away 17 years for nothing." I looked at Lena. "You could have talked to me. You could have told me you were unhappy. We could have fixed it, or we could have ended it like adults. But you chose this. You chose him. So don't stand there and act like I'm the bad guy. You made your bed. Now lie in it." I walked away. Rich and Gina followed. Behind us, I could hear Lena sobbing and Tina shouting and Miles making threats that meant nothing. The festival continued around us, music playing, kids laughing, the smell of popcorn and cider. Normal life. Continuing while mine fell apart. "You okay?" Rich asked. "Yeah, I'm good." That was intense. That was necessary. We found a bench near the gazebo and sat down. Gina went to get us coffee. I watched the crowd, the families and couples and friends, and I thought about what came next. The divorce would be finalized in a few months. The house would sell. I'd split the money with Lena, start over somewhere new, maybe stay in Millbrook, maybe leave. I hadn't decided yet. But one thing was clear. I was done being the nice guy. Done being the one who got walked on, taken for granted, lied to. From now on, I was looking out for myself. Gina came back with the coffee. "You're trending on Facebook. Someone posted a video of Miles trying to hit you." "Great." "Actually, it is. Everyone's on your side. The comments are brutal. People are calling Miles a loser, Lena a homewrecker. You're the hero of the story." "I'm not a hero. I'm just a guy who got cheated on." "You're a guy who stood up for himself. That's more than most people do." Maybe she was right. Maybe this was what standing up for yourself looked like. Messy and public and painful, but honest. I drank my coffee and watched the sunset over Main Street, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. The video went viral. Not national news viral, but Millbrook viral, which in some ways was worse. By Sunday morning, everyone in town had seen it. Miles lunging at me putting him on the ground, Lena crying in the background. The comments were vicious. "What a loser. She cheated and he's the one making a scene." Ed Turner is a class act. Miles Gannon is trash. I didn't read them all, didn't need to. The damage was done. Monday morning, Patricia called with news. Tech Vista terminated both of them. Lena and Miles, effective immediately. Violation of company policy, misuse of resources, creating a hostile work environment. They're out. How's Lena taking it? Her lawyer called me this morning. She wants to settle, fast. She's willing to accept 60-40 on the house, no alimony, clean break. What about dissipation of assets? She'll reimburse you for the affair-related expenses. We're talking about $12,000, give or take. It's not everything, but it's something. I'll take it. I just want this over. I'll draw up the agreement. We can have this finalized in 30 days. After we hung up, I sat in my truck outside a job site in Lexington, staring at my phone. It was over. Really over. In a month, I'd be divorced, single, starting from scratch. The thought should have terrified me. Instead, I felt relief. I went to work. Framed walls, installed drywall, lost myself in the rhythm of construction. My crew was quiet. They'd seen the video too, knew what was happening. But they didn't ask questions, just worked alongside me, steady and reliable. By the end of the day, I was exhausted. I drove home through rush hour traffic, listening to sports radio, trying not to think about anything. There was a car in my driveway, not Lena's Lexus, a Honda Civic I didn't recognize. Jennifer Gannon was sitting on my front steps. "Hey, Ed." "Jennifer, what are you doing here?" "I heard about the festival, saw the video, wanted to make sure you were okay." I'm fine. Tired, but fine. Can we talk? Just for a minute? I unlocked the door and let her in. She followed me to the kitchen, where I grabbed 2 beers from the fridge and handed her one. Thanks for what you did, Jennifer said. For exposing Miles, for standing up to him. I didn't do it for you. I did it for me. I know, but still. He's been getting away with this for years. Someone needed to stop him. He stopped himself. I just documented it. We drank in silence for a while. Outside, the sun was setting, casting long shadows across the backyard. What are you going to do now? Jennifer asked. Finish the divorce. Sell the house. Figure out what's next. You staying in Millbrook? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Haven't decided. If you leave, I wouldn't blame you. This town's going to talk about this for years. Let them talk. I've got nothing to hide. Jennifer smiled. You're tougher than I thought. I'm just tired of being the victim. Tired of letting other people control the narrative. Good. Don't let them. You did the right thing, Ed. Don't let anyone tell you different. After she left, I went down to my workshop. The bookshelf was long finished, delivered to the client in Wellesley last week. Now I was working on a new project, a dining table, solid maple, custom order for a couple in Concord, detail work, precision cuts, the kind of thing that required total focus. I lost myself in it. Measured, cut, sanded. The smell of sawdust, the feel of wood grain under my fingers. This was what I understood. This was what made sense. My phone buzzed. A text from Rich. Donnelly's tomorrow night. Trivia. You in? Yeah, I'm in. Good. We need our ringer back. I smiled. Life was moving forward, slowly, painfully, but forward. Tuesday morning, I met with Patricia to sign the settlement agreement. Lena was there too, with her lawyer. We sat on opposite sides of a conference table, not looking at each other, while the lawyers went through the terms. 60-40 split on the house. Lena would reimburse me for the affair expenses. No alimony. Clean break. Any questions? Patricia asked. No, I said. Lena. No. We signed. It was done. 17 years, reduced to signatures on legal documents. Lena stood up to leave. At the door, she stopped and looked back at me. I really am sorry, Ed, for what it's worth. It's not worth much, but I appreciate you saying it. Do you hate me? I thought about that. No, I don't hate you. I just don't care anymore. She nodded and left. Her lawyer followed. Patricia gathered up the documents. That's it. 30 days and you're officially divorced. Thanks for everything, Patricia. You're welcome. And Ed, you handled this better than most people would have. You should be proud of yourself. I wasn't sure about that, but I was done, and that was enough. The house sold in 3 weeks. A young couple from Boston looking for more space, charmed by the neighborhood. They loved the workshop, the yard, the potential. I signed the papers and took my half of the proceeds. Lena moved to Providence. I heard she got a job at some consulting firm, starting over. Miles moved too. California, someone said. Running away from his reputation. I stayed in Millbrook. Rented an apartment downtown, small but clean, close to Main Street. Started taking on bigger projects, building my business. Miguel became my partner. We renamed the company Turner & Sons Construction, even though I didn't have any sons. It felt right. Rich and Gina had me over for dinner every Sunday. We played poker, watched football, pretended life was normal. And slowly, it became normal. The gossip faded. The stares stopped. People moved on to the next scandal. Old man Sykes stopped by my apartment one evening, unannounced, holding a bottle of whiskey. Thought you could use this, he said. Thanks. Come in. We sat in my small living room, drinking whiskey and watching the news. After a while, Sykes spoke. You did good, Ed. Stood up for yourself. That takes guts. Didn't feel like I had a choice. There's always a choice. You could have let it go, pretended everything was fine. Most men would have. I'm not most men. No, you're not. He raised his glass. To new beginnings. To new beginnings. We drank. Outside, the town was settling in for the night. Lights coming on, families having dinner, the ordinary rhythm of life continuing. I thought about Lena, about Miles, about everything that had happened. The lies, the betrayal, the confrontation. It felt like a lifetime ago, like something that had happened to someone else. But it had happened to me. And I'd survived it. More than survived. I'd won. Not in the way you win a game or a fight, but in the way that matters, I'd kept my dignity. I'd stood up for myself. I'd refused to be a victim. And now I was free. 6 months later, I was working on a renovation in Wellesley when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Ed Turner. Mr. Turner, this is Detective Landry from the Millbrook Police. I need to ask you a few questions about Miles Gannon. My stomach dropped. What about him? He was found unresponsive in his apartment in Los Angeles yesterday. Apparent suicide. We're reaching out to people who had recent conflicts with him, just standard follow-up. I haven't spoken to Miles since the festival. That was 6 months ago. I understand. Can you tell me where you were on Saturday night? I was at Donnelly's bar, trivia night. I was there from 7 until midnight. At least 20 people can confirm that. Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. Detective, what happened? Pills and alcohol. He left a note. I can't discuss the details, but it looks like he couldn't handle the fallout from everything that happened. After we hung up, I sat in my truck for a long time. Miles Gannon was gone. Apparent suicide. His life had unraveled. He'd lost everything. I should have felt something. Guilt, maybe. Sadness. Satisfaction. I felt nothing. He'd made his choices. I'd made mine. And now it was over. Really, truly over. I called Rich. Did you hear? Yeah, Gina told me. You okay? I'm fine. It's just weird. The guy was a mess, Ed. This isn't on you. I know. Do you? Because if you're sitting there thinking you're responsible, I'm not. He did this to himself. I just held up a mirror. Damn right. Don't forget that. I went back to work. Ripped out old cabinets, installed new ones, focused on the task at hand. By the end of the day, I was covered in dust and sweat and ready for a hot shower. But I felt clean. For the first time in a year, I felt clean. That night, I went to Donnelly's, sat at the bar, ordered a beer, watched the game. People came and went. The usual crowd. No one mentioned Miles. No one mentioned Lena. They just talked about the Bruins and the weather and the new restaurant opening on Main Street. Normal conversation, normal life. Rich showed up around 8, slid onto the stool next to me. You good? Yeah, I'm good. You sure? I'm sure. We drank our beers and watched the game. The Bruins won in overtime. The bar erupted in cheers. Rich bought a round for everyone. And I sat there, surrounded by friends and noise and life, and I thought about everything that had happened, the handcuffs, the lies, the confrontation, the divorce, the settlement, the new beginning. It had been hell, but I'd walked through it, and I'd come out the other side stronger. Lena had wanted excitement. She'd wanted to feel alive. She'd thrown away 17 years for a man who'd thrown her away just as easily. And me? I'd lost a wife, a house, a life I'd built, but I'd kept myself, and that was worth more than all of it. Hey, Ed, Rich said. You know what we should do? What? Take a trip. You and me, go fishing up in Maine. Get away from all this. Yeah, that sounds good. Next weekend? Next weekend. We clinked our bottles together, a toast to friendship, to survival, to moving forward. The trip was canceled, and so was everything that had come before. Now, there was only what came next, and I was ready for it.